and I think that we got some of the best like characterization from Loki. And I gotta give it up to Tom Hiddleston. Like he's such an amazing actor, man. And the chemistry that he has with Owen Wilson, it's great. I love it. Yeah.
Sorry, I think we didn't have sound for a while.
Oh.
But is it good to go now?
Oh, I can't hear anything.
Can't hear nothing. Dang, see, I said I knew there was gonna be some mistakes. Let's see.
Okay. I'm just, mate, confused the shit out of the show. It's confusing the crap out of me.
Which part? Which
Well,
part?
when she drops those, I thought they're reset bombs. Oh, no, now we got sound. I thought they're reset bombs. Are
They are
not?
so yeah.
But
They
then they
are.
created
But
a whole new branches.
No, no,
well,
no.
so she basically like bombed the entire timeline. So she had them start in the reality that was, even though there was no variant activity because the coming cataclysm. There was a problem there, so she started it there and then just dropped them into strategic spots on the timeline and created a ripple effect throughout the entire
Right.
timeline.
Yeah, and
Right.
and if you like pause on the scene where they're showing all the different bombs that I'm gonna call her Lady Loki because I'm pretty sure that it's
Damn.
it seems like she's a combination of Enchantress and Lady Loki characters.
Man,
That's kind of
That was actually one of my questions for you. So as if you watch the show, we all know that Carlos is like the comic book encyclopedia. If you have a
Well, I
question,
mean-
he's gonna have the answer. And so while watching this, when she got revealed, I was like, I don't know who that is, but I'll just ask Carlos. And now you're telling me you don't know. I'm disappointed.
well because we haven't like actually gotten an answer. And Lady Loki didn't have blonde hair.
Yep.
Right? So that's kind of what threw me off.
Okay.
And she seems to be one of the versions of Enchantress that comes out in the comics because of her short like blonde hair. But she's wearing the Lady Loki crown that has a broken horn
yeah.
on it. Exactly. So, but anyways, when she sets off all those charges in if you pause on the screen where it's showing all the different like bombs that are going off, you can see all of the different timelines and different.
Yeah, I've seen that, and there was Asgard was on there, and
Yeah, man.
New York. There was a lot like key
Ego.
places. Yeah, Ego was one of them too. Yeah.
Titan.
Really?
So yeah, and I personally think that this is gonna, and I don't want to throw out a bunch of theories because we've seen how that goes. But
throw them out. throw them out.
right, but
oh man,
but I think this would be a cool opening to begin what the multiverse really is gonna be about and the fracturing of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know about you guys, but I was a little surprised when we were told that there's one sacred timeline, right? And that kind of did away with the comic book idea of the multiverse and different Earths and all of that. So I got that the multiverse doesn't really exist yet, I guess.
Well, that confused me because like at the end
Well,
of
it did,
WandaVision.
though.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
They and in that little trailer thing, they said that there was a multiversal war, and
That's
then
right.
the timekeepers fixed it. So there definitely was a multiverse that now, as I think, a little unlike healthy for the universe is now being jammed into one streaming timeline.
Gotcha. And that's what I was kind of like wondering. Is that what they meant by that? But good to know that you had the same thought. And I think that maybe this is how we're gonna return to the different multiverses.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about WandaVision. Like at the end of it, you hear Billy and her other son. I forgot his name. Tommy.
Or who?
Tommy.
Yeah,
Wicked.
that-
Oh, Tommy.
Wait, so
Tommy.
Billy and Tommy, you hear them calling out for her. So like obviously they're somewhere. They're not in her timeline, but it's some kind of multiverse or something. So maybe where's the end of WandaVision in reference to Loki episode 2? Like
Right.
so.
Well, she said that they've come out and confirmed that she's a Nexus being.
Right. That's true.
So she might have a way with I can't remember the name of the book she got. Darkhold, thank you. Be able to, for lack of a better word, surf the multiverse and the different time streams. Even though they're one sacred time stream, at different points they veer off. She might be able to go look at all those variations because of her powers. So that's and there's some theories. I don't know if I agree with it, that the point where she's in that cabin and you hear her, she hears them, is when the sacred timeline's bombed.
Oh,
as in, like, that's why she was able to hear it, because the whole timeline went crazy and veered off into all these different variations, and then that's why she was able to hear her kids.
Okay, I like that.
I don't know if I believe
it.
that, but I heard that. I was like, oh, I mean, I guess that does make sense.
Right.
So,
I do appreciate that.
How do you guys feel though overall about the idea of the timekeepers? Pretty much.
I don't reckon they're legit.
Huh?
I don't reckon they exist.
No, they do. I mean, and they have in the comics. I've only read very very few stories with them. But how do you guys feel about them pretty much letting us know that everything is predetermined?
Right. I think honestly that the timekeepers are up to something, honestly, and the actual, like, the big ones, and that judge, the one that Mobius keeps going back to talk to her and stuff. I don't trust her. Something about her is untrustworthy for me, and especially just this last issue, the fact that Mobius kept going back to her asking for things, and she was reluctant at first. It almost seems like he's onto something, and she's like, I don't want him to keep pulling on that thread, but at the end, she just
talking about that part, because I've seen a lot of theories going around because of he puts the cup down and there's the markers, that there's actual variants of him. And they're also saying that place was built by all the workers there were actual variants from timelines like Loki is, and how Loki's working for them.
Yeah.
That's a theory I've been hearing about, but I reckon the lady, the judge, whatever, I reckon she's one of the timekeepers. That's what I'm thinking.
She's a lizard lady.
I reckon she's a timekeeper.
Okay.
Interesting.
But it's just
in the comics, in the comics, she's pursued romantically by Kang the Conqueror.
She is, right?
Yeah, so like he is in love with her in the comics.
Is that supposed to be one of the timekeepers too? Like when they show them? Well,
they keep doing that. Like even if you notice in that scene when Owen Wilson is talking, he goes, "I've never met them, except," and then he decides he realizes he's going off track and veers back to the conversation, almost like he's like, I know someone that looks just like that middle one. And
okay.
I've postulated that
because that middle one was handled differently.
Yeah, and that one's the one that looks like Kang, and I thought that it was really too early for them to have Masters like have him lined up for this movie that is, I don't even think the script's done yet. Like that seemed a little odd to me. So I've always said that I don't know if he's gonna show up as Kang. I think he's gonna show up as like a flashback, or someone's gonna tell a story about him, and it's gonna be just him looking like his normal self.
I think that if he does show up, we'll first see a flashback of him, and I would personally love to see a flashback of him as Immortus.
As what?
Immortus. Immortus is when he was the Egyptian god, right?
Yes,
okay.
I think. Yeah. If we see him as Immortus.
That was his actual first, because when the character was first introduced, he was Immortus, and then it was later revealed that it was a version of Kang.
I thought you were gonna say Iron Lad, because then that could set up like the Young Avengers, like we were talking about.
That's
as well.
another one.
Another one. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he has hundreds of different like versions of himself.
Okay.
But
and there's one thing I also noticed is that when they were talking about Loki, they said he's one of the most. I think Kang is the most.
Okay.
And they've been trying to stop him all this time too, but now they have this more current threat. They're like, well, he's always going to be messing around, so we'll let him go on the back burner for now. We've got a real pressing matter now.
Right.
And I think that Kang's one of the ones they've had to clip a lot too, and Peggy Carter too. because I think we did see like someone who looked
in
like
episode
Peggy.
1.
Yeah.
I've
But
seen
also,
that.
you think about her character, she's the type to veer off of the predestined path a lot. You know, so I could see, and the implications of and they said, you could be either as starting a riot or being late to work. So if you think of the implications there, they have to prune so many different people who are just late to work. And they went to the wrong building or something, you know, and it's like, there's just so many that could possibly have that happened to.
Yeah.
I think Peggy would be another one we might see a lot of in there.
Does
Like,
she,
ran a whole bunch.
technically, if Steve went back and he's dancing with her and whatnot, isn't he screwing up the timeline then? But I know they say that it's meant to all happen, but
Yeah, how do y'all feel about that? The fact that they said it's meant
that's
to
what I'm
happen.
just
Like,
confused about.
But that's the thing, though.
Technically, well, he's frozen at that point. The real Steve Rogers is frozen at that time.
Right, so
does it really affect anything?
So this is the thing. What we were told is that it's not so much necessarily that someone may be out of their, the time that they belong, as long as it follows the path, right, or the sacred timeline of what's supposed to happen. And we hear Mobius mention that the end is still technically not really known, right? The end of everything, and that's what the timekeepers are still working on figuring out. How does this all end, right? So I just think that it's overall genius that the idea that there's people that they need to prune, and like you mentioned, Kyle, something as simple as being late to work or taking the wrong turn in your car, creates a time aberration that really just allows us to have so many possibilities for the multiverse. And going back to Steve, I think that eventually we're going to get an explanation as to what happens as far as how he can be frozen in time, but then be back at, with Peggy. And I think that it's going to be explained as some kind of a loop where that's always supposed to happen. There's going to be two versions of, Steve, and as long as, again, they don't come into collision or, they don't come into contact with each other, that version of Steve that's frozen will go on to do what,
Didn't in one of the movies, Captain America movies, didn't she find someone else and move on?
That's what we see,
Oh,
but
yeah.
there are theories out there that that's a kind of cover-up that she needs, that her and Steve need to put up, because of the fact that when Steve goes back in time and he ends up living his life with Peggy, that Steve that's frozen in time, that's frozen, needs to go through what he goes through,
so he can get back. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
does he? But that's the thing. Does he need to go through that? Because it's a different timeline. It's a completely different. Anything can happen in there. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as every single timeline.
Because that's what I remember I was saying, like, last week. Well, we didn't do a video last week, but we were talking, and I was saying how Loki, technically, because he leaves that 2012 part, he's gone. So then where's Loki from 2012 onwards? But then he explained to me it's just a.
Well, they did.
It's like a.
They did away with that in the first episode. They got rid of that timeline of where he got pulled away.
Yeah. So what happens, and that's what the whole.
So they reset that timeline, and then that normal Loki's back there.
Exactly, and that's why he's a variant, suspended outside of the sacred timeline. So think of that timeline that was starting to branch out, kind of how we see in the graph. But when they set the reset charge, they reset that timeline, and then 2012 Loki is there again.
He never got the.
Wait
never
a
got
minute,
the
wait a
cube,
minute
never-
though. So does that mean there's an alternate time hold on, wait a minute. Okay, so Endgame, we find out that they go back, right?
Yeah.
And then this version of Loki, which is the Avengers Loki, stated that he knew then that there were two Tony Starks there.
Right.
So that means that there was two Starks at that moment in time.
Right.
So then Endgame failed
What do you mean?
because how could there possibly
He
if
said
there was a
because of
version
two
of that,
Cologne, so he knows that there's two Tony Starks there. So
but there was
even if
always
they
two Tony
reset
Starks
it,
there.
Yeah, even if they resetted it and he's still there, he technically knows. Loki knows that whole time that there's been two Tony Starks. He's always known because you could smell it on him. He could smell two Tony Starks. So when Tony Stark's gone back in time, that Loki knew that there was two there. So in Endgame, that Loki knew that whole time that there's been two Tony Starks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and but to take that, like to expand on it, it's so in order for Endgame to happen, they have to fail in getting the Tesseract. Okay, and they have to then go back even further in time and get it from the Shield headquarters.
This is why I hate time travel, man.
So that being said, when there's some part of the timeline that's always broken, because that Loki part happens always.
Oh yeah, and
you know what I mean? Like there's no way to explain that because the Tesseract goes to where it's supposed to go in the original timeline, but they had to fail in stealing it for the original timeline to happen. Wait a minute, there's something
It's all
wrong
part
here.
of the sacred timeline. You need to know the details, all right?
Timekeepers see, now you done did it because now I'm gonna break down the secret timeline and I'm gonna reconstruct the whole thing. Now I'm gonna go crazy the next week.
Well, that's true.
You're gonna look like that poster behind you.
I was about to say, coming from someone who has a Back to the Future poster, you got a bloody. Yeah, so
you see what I'm saying? Like if there's always two Tony Starks there, then how did the Tesseract get where it actually had to go and where Loki didn't get it?
Well, that's because Captain America returned it, right?
They went back and returned it.
At the end of the Endgame,
that was always part of it too.
Yeah, they always return it back to where it was originally stolen.
Okay.
See, sacred timeline. Don't
worry
about it.
What do you do? Knock out Tony so he didn't make that mistake? What the hell?
Just kind of maybe.
How did he manage that?
Maybe just held him back, like, hey, watch out.
Tony Stark would have seen Captain America because that Tony Stark. You know what I mean? Like, how did he get it off Tony Stark?
The way it would work, it's supposed to be like instantaneous. So like the second he walks out the room, Steve walks in the room. Like that's how it's supposed to be. So it never leaves the timeline.
Yeah. So then he puts the Tesseract there, but then Tony Stark takes it.
Exactly.
And there's also the whole question of like they did break up the Tesseract, the cube. So like, how did they make that cube again to give it back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my answer to that,
I can't give you an answer on that. I've been trying to rack my brain how they did that too.
My answer to that is just
the time stone.
No, I bet you it's just Steve goes back to that certain time and just like right before the Hulk like busts through the door. Maybe Steve just kind of grabs Tony and is like, oh wait, Hulk busts through and then there it is.
I think we at some point are gonna get a show.
That'd be sick.
And I would love. I personally would love a show, even if it's 4 episodes, man, 5 episodes.
You know how Pixar does like the little Pixar films, like the little tiny
animated shorts.
Yeah, exactly. I would love a short. Yeah,
I would love a short that just sees a Steve go through that adventure.
Yeah. Just answer those damn questions.
Imagine the Red Skull.
Like, have y'all seen that
Steve
meme?
Steve Oh shit.
No, I've seen a meme where it's like, Steve, son of a bitch, you're still alive.
Language.
I would love to see that. Kyle, I already asked this question to these guys, but I'm wondering, how do you feel about this Loki having character development that he's never gone through?
Well, what I like about it is that the evil Loki was literally like jump started to get to the hero Loki that we know by seeing one being defeated by the TVA. Like he knows there's nothing he can do. When he looks at that thing, like, this is the greatest power in the universe, he gives up right there. He's like, I'm done. Like I can't win here. Maybe he's thinking of other ways, but now he knows he's lost. But like he was able to do all of this emotional character development in instance versus over the course of his entire life. So while we haven't seen the progression, we have seen the progression. We didn't get to see it like this, where he let himself feel everything. Because he was sad when his mom died, but like he didn't break down, like cry. I mean, we saw him destroy the room and everything. He looked a mess, but that's more rage than sadness. You know, so we got to see him actually feel his emotions in this episode. Well, yeah, episode 2.
I don't know. I personally just think it was too rushed, and like he immediately skipped so many years for us of character development, and now he's exactly where he left off. Like now he's acting exactly like the Loki that we saw die. And so I was just like,
but is he?
Well, no, he's not technically because he walked through that portal with her.
But who knows?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And the question is, being Loki, did he take some Infinity Stones with it? You never know.
You know,
The Infinity Stones don't work there, but I'm sure if you take the Infinity Stones when you go into a reality, that they will work.
I don't think he had
It
the
don't have to be
time.
that reality if it's keeping with the comics, because you could take Infinity Stones from one reality in the comics and bring them to another one, and it won't work.
Yeah.
He had to have known precisely which Infinity Stones would work in whatever universe he's going to.
He could. I could see him definitely taking him and testing his luck. I mean, he may not think it'll actually work, but he's like, you know what? Might as well. Let me go ahead and grab some of these just in case.
And touching on that rapid character growth. I do think that him sitting down and seeing his life play out in front of him, because the fact that he does come to a realization, this is the greatest power ever, and this is true. I need to accept it. Loki, I think, has shown though that he comes to grips with reality pretty quick, and he strategizes around what situation he finds himself in. And I think with all of this being laid out in front of him, he's someone that can come to. I mean, again, he's a god, and he's been around for for thousands of years. I think that it's pretty clear that he can see this and come to realization and acceptance, like, I lose. So what am I going to do now in order to,
Yeah, but he can also see that I lose, but I've got to be smarter now.
Yeah.
So now maybe he's making us all believe that he feels these emotions and that, but he's not. He's going to try to screw that up, and he wants to be take over the timekeepers, because he realizes that's the highest power.
Right.
To have to be on that time stream. So you never know, mate. Because technically speaking, he's still that bad Loki from 2012. Right. That one that was, you know what I mean? And he saw he got screwed at the end and his neck snapped by Thanos.
Yeah. Like he hasn't.
But he's like, okay, I need to do this to become better. Like he's a hard character. You don't know whether to.
I think that
and they've done it really good, but you don't know whether to trust him or not.
Yeah, I think that it can go both ways, but both ways would work because of, again, what we've seen and the scenario that he's been put in. So whether he, does continue to be bad, or he has that rapid character growth where he starts being, I don't want to say a good guy necessarily, but, not an outright villain.
It could be that he, like, the way he bonded with Thor and, like, became a good guy, that bond is going to be replaced with Mobius.
I think so too.
I don't know.
Mobius will die.
You don't think Owen Wilson wants to be a part of the MCU? He's like, I'll do this for a couple episodes.
Mobius is gonna die. He's too much of an awesome character already for me, for him to survive this.
All right, so
he's going to be stabbed and he's going to be bleeding to death, and Loki's going to put him on a jet ski and make him drive out to the sunset, and he's going to die in the water.
Oh man! All right, if he does die, that's the only ending I'm going to accept. That
he's going to drive a jet ski. He's going to sacrifice. Drive a jet ski into something and sacrifice his life on a jet ski.
See, I was going to say
he's going to jump the timeline on a jet ski.
On a jet ski. Hey, whatever happens with that man, it will be on a jet ski. I can bet on that.
That was, you know what? I was going to say that he was going to get stabbed in the back by that judge, but I like yours a lot better. So I'll go with that.
You know what?
I think the judge is getting manipulated by, and I don't think it's the timekeepers anymore. I think it's Kang. Okay. I'm telling you,
there are no timekeepers.
I've said this on my I think he's already taken out the timekeepers, and I think he's manipulating it as he wants. And think about it. If whoever is, how did that Loki figure out about the apocalypse? They didn't have access to the the Time Variance Authority's records to be able to figure it out. Someone had to tell this Loki, because I don't think it's Loki. I think it's magic to make it appear like Loki. There was I haven't verified this. I didn't have time to look it up, but I saw a post that that when Loki was looking through, he saw a file that had a female version of his name, and it had the name of one of the Enchantress, not Loki.
Wasn't it like
I can't remember the name, and then it was like Lofison. So it's not really. I don't think this is actually a Loki, and I think Kid Loki is in here somewhere mingling around, in my opinion. But I don't think that's actually a Loki, really, because there's never, ever been a blonde Loki.
Okay.
Exactly.
See, this is where I'm out of my depth because like I don't read Thor, I don't read Loki, I don't read anything about Asgard. So I was like, I have nothing to pull from in my comic knowledge to know what's.
Well, that's
what's
what I was
gonna
saying.
happen.
Like this whole when the house just whatever you want to call it transfers like the green light. Does that happen in any of the comics?
Well, she does. She does have the spells that can control people and things like that. But I definitely think the way that she was moving was more a sorceress. Like think about like Wanda when she goes up and touches. That's exactly what the first time we saw it happen. That's what she did. She's a sorceress. I mean, so is Loki. I mean, we see in the trailers him shooting like this like green like energy at somebody. So he's a sorcerer as well. So and that doesn't necessarily mean that just because she used sorcery that she's the enchantress. But I don't buy it, man. Loki can't be blonde. I mean, we have a blonde James Bond. Can we just that's it? Like that's the only black hair person that can be blonde is James Bond. We can't have now a female Loki blonde too. I'm sorry, I can't.
And you know what? That name, the name that you mentioned, it was Laufey's son, Odin's daughter, instead of Odin's son, and that's where again, like this idea of a female version of Loki. I don't know if it's gonna be kind of like, well, because in the comics, just for a quick background, after Ragnarok, when Asgard, when everyone from Asgard was reborn, Loki ended up taking over Sif's body, and that's how he became Lady Loki or whatever, right? But in the show, I don't know if maybe there's a reality where Loki was just born, as a woman, and he didn't take over anybody's body, or they're gonna adapt that storyline of where Loki took over Sif's body, and instead he somehow took over the Enchantress's body.
But you notice when they were fighting, Loki was like, "I would never treat me like this." Like I think that it was so on the nose that almost like I got almost discredit that. But like the whole time when they're talking, they don't seem like the same person because yes, they're variants, but it's still supposed to be Loki at heart.
Like that personality,
and that didn't come off as Loki.
Yeah.
Is that why Mobius was asking him all these questions in the first episodes about does he kill, why does he do it, and all that kind of stuff?
I think that I think that yes, he was trying to understand Loki, but I think that more he was really trying to get Loki to, come to terms with, why he does the things that he does.
Because the way I see it is he was asking all those questions to see, and to see if this variant truly is Loki, because if you can get through to Loki and see what Loki's real intentions are, then you'd be able to see what this other variant, Enchantress, whatever you want to call it, intentions are. They should have the same intentions, should they not? But then again, in alternate realities, you can be good and bad. I don't know how they do it. We're going to find out, but isn't Kang's in Ant-Man, in the new Ant-Man, isn't
he? Yes. He's been confirmed to be in Ant-Man 3, yeah.
When was that?
It was confirmed last year.
Was Loki confirmed before Ant-Man?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So then it could be Kang could be on the show. Because as I was saying, like if Loki wasn't confirmed before, you know what I mean? Like if it was confirmed after Ant-Man, then because that's what Marvel do, man. Marvel 2-3 steps ahead. Like that's why, like, so there is.
But this seems like 6 steps ahead. That's what I'm saying. Like, like they're usually 3 steps ahead, but this seems like 6. Like they've been trying because they did pretty well hiding all of the the secret stuff that was coming out in WandaVision, Falcon the Winter Soldier. And you know what though, honestly, Paul Bettany, who plays Vision, that guy, he got us all. He absolutely like saw. I was like, oh, they're doing theories. Watch this. I'm gonna make them regret this. Oh yeah, I have a good time with one of my someone I wanted to hold the screen with for a long time now, and he's amazing. Really?
I'm still not.
I was the only one that said no on our podcast. I was the only one that said what's his name? Quicksilver isn't Quicksilver, and it's just a freaking everyone's just gonna get punked out, and I was right there.
That never happened.
Well, you might be right. As of right now, you're right.
Well, now
I've heard
technically,
rumors that he's actually in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Well, technically, because that's what at the end of the day they're using this multiverse. The way I see it is, this is their way 5 years in the track to bring X-Men in. This is their way to bring X-Men into the franchise. That's what I think. This is why they're going that whole multiverse route.
Wait until they bring them in as adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just bring the X-Men characters into the MCU.
Oh,
I mean, because you got to understand this whole time. What, for 23 films, no X-Men have ever been around. They've never been thought of. So where's the X-Men been last? When New York got attacked, where were the X-Men? Well, that's what I know. I don't really read X-Men that much, and after talking to these boys for a while now, it could be hiding them. Yes, now I know that, but
I mean, I don't like that. It's an easier way to one explanation.
But for the casual fan, it's easier to do it as a multiverse. That they're in a different timeline. Yeah. That's the way I see it.
So to kind
of you walk through that door, I'm curious to know where they've gone.
To kind of derail the conversation to something else real quick, I think this is just like an Easter egg and probably means nothing. But because I've been reading the Champions book that's come out lately, right now they're going up against a company called Roxxon, Roxxon.
Yeah, Roxxon was in the show.
And that's why I'm bringing it up. I don't really know much about them, and I was wondering if you guys could shed some light.
Roxxon goes back, Jesus, man.
Do you think it's just
Daredevil too?
I was gonna say. So do you think it's just an Easter egg, or do you think that it's gonna do something to the show?
I think that at some point Roxxon is definitely gonna play some kind of role because, dude, Roxxon's been in the comics since the 60s. I want to say.
Wow. I'm just now finding out.
Are they like what kind of company are they? I know they got a shop.
Right now they're a tech company. Yeah.
Tech company.
They're a tech company that basically spans into this just huge conglomerate that if you've ever read Spider-Man 2099 or if you end up reading Spider-Man 2099 and the majority of future storylines, at some point Roxxon just takes over the world and they fuck it up. They ended up like just destroying it.
Okay.
And that's because, again, they either are responsible for some cataclysmic events, for the fall of like the overall environment. They're evil. They're just bad shit evil, and they get into all sorts of like evil type of experiments. They are in bed with Hydra. They're in bed with AIM a lot. They're just this really evil corporation, and they play again a really big role in Spider-Man 2099. Well, the whole 2099 comics line.
Yeah.
And then a lot of storylines that take place in the future. Typically, you'll see Roxxon like end up, being a part of something. They're just a seedy, type of evil corporation, right, Kyle? It sounds like you.
Yeah. Well, and it could be kind of like the Ten Rings, like. Wow. We got the glimpse of the 10 rings all the way back in Iron Man 1, and then sporadically, like in Ant-Man, you see the tattoo on the guy's neck, but like they're just because we don't see them doesn't mean they're not in the MCU right now. That's the one thing. Like I think certain mutants might be in the MCU as we're speaking right now. We just haven't seen them. Like there's no way to have Wolverine and him not be
exactly
hundreds of years old. You can't do it. You just can't do it.
The one thing that I hope that Marvel just really doesn't mess up, and again, I'm sure that they can provide some kind of explanation, whether it's Xavier, it's whatever. But I need to see a scene or some kind of acknowledgement, even if it's just one of the characters sees the other one in like a picture and they mention something. But the point that I'm getting to is Logan knowing Steve back in World War II.
Yes.
At some point, like if the X-Men or the mutants are brought in, I need to see confirmation that Logan and Steve like met at one point in the past.
Because they would have to.
Huh?
They would have to. Like there's no way around that.
Jesus, like I'd be so upset if they just don't ever acknowledge that. um, it'll just break my heart. You know?
Yeah.
My mate, he wants, I was speaking to him the other day, because he's a massive, like, X-Men, Wolverine fan and that. You know, I don't know nothing about fucking X-Men, but he says he wants an Incredible Hulk film, and at the post-credit scene of Incredible Hulk, that he's walking through the snow, and then you just see the claws come out, because apparently he's at one of his first appearances, like he's in the
It
snow
was
or something.
Yes.
He's saying that's what he wants. He wants an Incredible Hulk film, and then at the post-credit scene of the Incredible Hulk film, just a man walking through the snow, and then his claws come out, and then it ends. And he's, I
So
just thought, like,
there's some rumors going around that Universal has come back to the table and is open to hearing a possibility of doing a Hulk film. And if that's the
he's
case,
in She-Hulk, isn't he? He's been
Yes,
casted
yes.
in She-Hulk.
well, because the agreement is anything that the Avengers are in, or you can like rope the Avengers in, you're allowed to use the Hulk because he's an Avenger as well as his individual self.
Which
So
is
you just can't
why
make a solo movie.
which is why Scarlet Witch and Pietro Quicksilver were allowed to be
Yes.
the Avengers movie
As long as they weren't mutants, though.
as long as they weren't mutants and exactly they didn't have like Kyle mentioned a standalone movie.
Well, but hold on though, like we had that scene, like so they may just never been said as mutants, but like we had that scene in WandaVision where she was about to do magic without ever being told she had like, and also we never saw it.
But
I think that
WandaVision was
like,
after.
Right.
It was after they purchased. After they purchased Fox.
Right. I'm saying
So
that they're gonna
allowed to
retcon
do
it as she
Exactly.
always was a mutant.
A retcon would be perfectly fine with me, like absolute.
They
That's
never really
the
said it.
way
They
I
just
said.
said she's got powers, enhanced.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, to bring it back to Loki, real quick, what I'm appreciating a lot is now that we're like talking about all these things that can happen, I'm enjoying the pacing of the show. I think that,
Yeah, they revealed Lady Loki pretty quick, or whoever it is.
Yeah, but it nothing feels like a plot hole yet. Nothing feels rushed, and nothing feels slow. I think that this is one of the best paced shows out of WandaVision and Falcon.
How many
Have
episodes?
they said how many episodes? Oh, yeah.
Six.
Six. Well,
Oh,
that's
six is
probably
fine.
why it's so quick. I was wondering too. It's like, damn, he's already like betraying them and going after Lady Loki so quick. Like, I was expecting that to happen for the next episode, but
Yeah.
Well, but did he really betray? See, like this is the thing. Like
I don't think he's
we
betraying.
Don't know
I don't
if
think he's
being
betraying.
Good. I think, and just like I think everything that Loki says, there is a shred of truth in everything he says.
Yep.
So when he's telling her that it took a while to get on their good side, I think he really is trying to get on their good side because he knows he's at their mercy. So he's trying to find a way to rope his way out and be able to live.
and he did
So,
hesitate.
and-
He did hesitate. He was just kind of
Yes.
look back and all right, I'm gonna go for it, and just does it. So
That's
Is
a
that-
part of the plan. He's screwing them all, mate. Oh, no. I
I don't
know
care
what
what it be
Marvel's
the
good,
last
mate.
episode.
Marvel,
Like
everyone
he's just
wants him
sitting
to be
on
good.
like the timekeeper
Oh,
throne,
my God.
like just like
Well, there is in the trailer. He's sitting on a throne, and I'm
and it
telling
was
you,
like
I think
serpentine. Yeah.
cause Loki's a loved character, and they're gonna just do it. They're gonna make him go bad again, and they're just
He's gonna
gonna
be the
have
timekeeper.
build everyone's hopes up. It's what Marvel does, mate. Build your hopes up, and then just hit you where it hurts, mate. That's what they're gonna do. I reckon he could be a part of the next villain again, like the big villain. I don't know. I just think there's a lot more to this than. It's the same as WandaVision. Like this, like Winter Soldier and Captain America, Winter Soldier and the Falcon Winter Soldier is the only show that you didn't really throw out all these theories. WandaVision and Loki just gets you really thinking.
it's because of that
But-
time travel bullshit, man.
But
Like,
but that's why, and like you guys know that it's no secret that I have a serious love for like anything like cosmic / magic related, and it's because, dude, like, I mean, you can literally take the story anywhere, and the possibilities are absolutely endless. And that's what I think is so magical about Loki, and WandaVision, and seeing Loki, in a show where he's just being his mischievous self, right? And seeing Tom Hiddleston just bring out all of these like character traits that we see in the comics. It's special, man. You know, and I was reading an article where Loki and the director, the showrunner for the show, I can't remember her name, but she flew out to, or he flew out to New York, and when they first met, they ended up spending about like 5 hours. The first time that they met, just talking about all these ideas and talking about where they were going to take the show, and I think that you really see like the love, you know, that Tom.
Isn't the writer writing multiverse as well?
Huh?
Isn't the writer writing multiverse as well?
Yes, and I believe so. And if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the writers from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Rick and Morty. Nice. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's writing the show and he's writing the script for multiverse. So.
Oh, and by the way, Rick and Morty new season tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is tomorrow.
I like to stack those up and watch them all at one time because
you're gonna probably want to fight Australia and beat the shit out of me. I've never watched it, Rick and Morty.
I mean, that's an easily fixed.
Listen, hold on.
Fix that
I understand that. Like, I've seen clips that are like really awesome, but like I get so taken out of the episode when he burps so much. Like I'm trying to listen to the bro. Just talk.
It's literally like, just like the first season.
Let me hear your scientist crap so I can laugh and stop burping. Like I've sat down and tried to watch it. Like I've got the first like season and a half, but like yeah, I just keep getting taken out. Like
that's fair.
Saying this great science stuff, and all of a sudden,
That's the same thing for my wife. Like I'm like this. It is a hilarious show. You would appreciate the humor, but that very first episode, he's just like this drunk idiot. And I'm like, just get past this, please. Just and she can't. She can't get past it. So it is what it is. But that's gonna be Loki, traveling the world and burping.
Yeah, man.
traveling all through time. No.
It's gonna be awesome, I think.
Y'all have anything else y'all want to talk about with Loki? Any questions or anything like that? I mean, one of the things that I have is also just I don't appreciate how weak he is because he's always, especially like if you look at Avengers from 2012 and Thor: The Dark World, he's always got like this aura of strength around him. Even if he isn't that strong like physically, but
he did do that in the first episode. In the first episode, he
tried, and then immediately,
you know,
just gets like shut down, and he's like a little puppy wagging his tail, following Mobius around. I just didn't like that.
But see, the whole idea, and like in every for the most part, in every story, video game, anime, all of that stuff, the characters put into a situation or a place where they're stripped of all of their powers, right? Or they're stripped of what makes them unbeatable, and it's a way to have them explore a different side of them and to build on certain aspects of their character. So I'm not that upset about it because I think that this allows us to see Loki's like mischievous side without having to use magic. And one in the comics, Loki's and he mentions it. His biggest weapon is his tongue. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that he's not going to be able to rely so much on his magic, but his tongue.
Why didn't he rely on his magic when he fought her at the end of episode 2?
Yeah, he's talking about overall, like when they go back to the TVA, like he is powerless.
Well, no, but he did use magic. The only thing is he didn't have any weapons. So he had to try to find whatever he could use around him because he doesn't have. I mean, we see in the trailer that he does have like an actual attack. I don't know if he learns it throughout the show or something, but he's never done that in the MCU. He's always just like made the illusions or like popped up behind someone, stabbed him. He's always had a weapon. So right now he's out of his element. That's why he grabbed the freaking Roomba.
Yeah. And even in the comics, like Loki, and I could be proven wrong here, but from everything that I read, he doesn't have like any kind of real like energy blasts or like projectiles or like any kind of shit like that. That's why he's always carrying around his knives.
Right.
But again, that's why I'm not so caught up on the fact that he is kind of like a puppy right now because the dude doesn't have anything. He has to rely on his wits, on his cunningness, and on his greatest weapon, his tongue. You know, which is why those interactions with him and Owen Wilson are so fucking hilarious, man. Like, you know, and one last thing that I will say. I think that I enjoy Owen Wilson more than I am enjoying Loki a bit.
Oh.
Dude, Owen Wilson is just killing it with his.
I'm really upset he hasn't said wow yet. Like, he hasn't said the Owen Wilson wow. You know,
Yeah.
so it's coming though. I know it's
You know
coming.
what? There you go.
That's
When he
the last
dies on
episode.
his jet ski, when he dies on his jet ski, he's gonna say, "Wow." That's what's gonna happen.
That's the last scene. That's how it ends. Like,
Yeah, that's the end of season.
Mate, he'll say wow. He'll say wow, and he'll drive a jet ski. I am very. It's something Marvel will do. You know what I mean? Like, they know that the thing I love about Marvel, because as you can see behind the column, I'm more of a DC fan. But the thing that Marvel do that DC just can't do is give what the fans want. And they know straight away when they casted this bloke, they know for a fact that everyone would be saying, "We hope he says wow." They know that. So they will have a scene, and I'll be very, very surprised they don't. They'll have a scene where he does it.
and then you got the other half of the fans that are saying he better not say wow in Loki. All right, he
Yeah.
better not.
They're just freaking. They're just sucks.
Yeah,
It's gonna. I reckon it's gonna happen. I reckon he's gonna drive a jet ski. I reckon he is gonna die, unfortunately, because when they make you love a character a lot, they tend to.
Honestly, I thought that Jimmy Woo was gonna eat it, man. I thought he was not gonna make it. The fact that
he's still iffy. He's still iffy.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. The fact that he made it out of WandaVision, man, I was like, wow.
Well, I think it's because they're working on like a spin-off with him and Darcy as like the X-Files of the MCU.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that would make
be
so
good.
much. Like, they could make a movie series and everyone would be like, "I'm going to see Jimmy Woo. I need to see Jimmy Woo."
That could replace the end credits. You know, instead of end credits going for like the next movie, it's just like, all right, here's a little 10-minute adventure of Jimmy and Darcy. Like, that would be pretty cool.
He just shows up and it's like, how the hell did they get away with that?
Or Marvel could actually do something super awesome, and you know what? At the end, Mobius is, because again, we think that the timekeepers they've already been murked by King. Like, they're done. It'd be fucking awesome if Mobius ends up being like the timekeeper.
Do you think, because only because I just recently finished, Kyle's getting my girlfriend into the MCU, she's never watched it. I just finished Endgame the other day. Do you think that, because Tony Stark, the time machine thing, he calls it Mobius. Do you think there's a link
Mobius
between...
strip.
Yeah, the Mobius strip. Is there a possible link between them, you reckon?
I think it's just a Easter egg, honestly. Because I think that is an actual theory.
That's an actual quantum application.
Yeah, and in real life.
Yeah, in like real life.
Okay.
But I mean, shit,
it could.
It makes sense though. I mean, like, definitely there's a connection there for sure. I bet you, think about like everything that happened.
And his name's Mobius. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
You know what's funny though? When I heard the name Mobius, the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, dude, the fucking exactly.
Yeah,
the Mobius chair. What is this, DC? Like,
that's all I could think of. Honestly, it's all every time I hear his name, I'm like, is the Mobius chair gonna show
Mobius?
up?
No.
Mobius.
What's the one with Jared Leto's coming out? Morbius.
Oh,
Morbius.
Yeah.
Morbius.
Yeah.
Morbius.
I want them to meet now just for that. Like, what's your name? Morbius. Huh?
That's my name. No. My name's Mobius.
Well, they might be. They might be, because they're
Oh.
talking about bringing that all into the MCU, so there could be a possibility that they do meet.
So if
they're going to bring it all in.
If you guys don't have anything else, I would like to finish this off with, when do you guys, so it's been confirmed that it's not happening, but I don't believe it. So when do you guys think Mephisto's going to show up?
Okay, so I personally think that Mephisto has to show up, and they do have it planned out.
They said no, it's not going to happen. But like, I don't believe them.
I think so.
No. There's an unconfirmed confirmed, because I can't. The Marvel hasn't said it themselves, but all these people are confirming. They're inside sources that there is a whatchamacallit, Midnight Suns series in the works that would be like a rated R, like Red Band type thing. So, and also there's been rumors that Ghost Rider is going to show up in Doctor Strange. And
right.
You can't have those characters. We know for sure Ghost Rider's coming at some point.
Right.
That's happening. There's no way around.
But would it be the
It's
same
just too
Ghost
lucrative
Rider
a character.
in the show in Shield? Would it be the same bloke?
No.
There's multiple Ghost Riders.
There is, and also, I mean, from what we've heard, and from where it kind of stands right now, like Feige has like written off the whole Agents of Shield thing. Like that took place in the
and Daredevil and Punisher and all that stuff.
Well, actually, except for the Netflix shows, he has mentioned that they are thinking of how to bring how to incorporate those characters into the MCU. I mean,
they mentioned them.
I mean, Charlie Cox is supposed to be coming back. I mean, from what we've heard.
Yeah, comicbook.com said that they were literally they had someone on set who confirmed that Charlie Cox was on set filming.
And they also confirmed the Spider-Man trailer three fucking times and never came out.
Yeah, but
anyway.
Again, who knows? But but you're right, Cal. If Ghost Rider comes, which he is, you can't do it without Mephisto. My bet is that he's gonna.
Does Mephisto make him into the devil kind of thing? Is that?
Yeah. So.
Because I remember watching the one with Nicolas Cage years.
Oh God, no.
Can I mention that?
Hey, Nicolas Cage is like wine, all right? He just gets better with time. Just, right? So don't say that.
But the movies he made back then don't.
But in those movies, does Mephisto give him the powers or not?
Well, he's not officially named Mephisto in those movies. He's just like the devil.
The devil, yeah. Okay. But he is Mephisto. The contract that any Spirit of Vengeance is done with, it's with Mephisto. So,
and also in the first one, wow, I can't drawing a blank of his name. Blackheart. Blackheart in the comics is Mephisto's son, 100% unequivocally, and they said that's my son. He never was officially named Mephisto, but it's heavily implied.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that Mephisto is coming in the Doctor Strange movie. I don't think that he's going to be like a main villain, all that stuff. It's going to be an end credit scene, or there's going to be some serious allusion, to him.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to show up, but I think it's going to be for a different reason. Because the rumored villain is Shuma-Gorath, who is a multi-dimensional being.
Which I think would be so out of left field, and I would love it.
What other
so I could see Doctor Strange going to Mephisto for help.
Ooh.
What other thing has Shuma-Gorath
No Way Home? Mephisto at the end of No Way Home. Peter selling his soul to reset everything.
Away Mephisto from my Spider-Man. I don't even want it.
What was it last day?
I remember what he did last time.
Last Day Home. What was it called? One day. What was the last day? What is it called?
One more day.
Far From Home.
Far From Home. Far From Home.
No, he's talking about the Mephisto and Spider-Man storyline.
Oh, One More Day.
Yep. Which I have up right here at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. You do. But yeah, dude, keep Mephisto away from my Spider-Man. I don't even want them to meet. I don't want an interaction. I don't want nothing, dude. Like, stay away. Stay away.
What other storylines other than the X-Men storyline has Shuma-Gorath been part of? Or actually, I'm confusing things right now because I'm reading Savage Avengers at the moment, and Kulan Gath is in that, and he's using whatever that guy's name. I already forgot it. Shuma-Gorath.
Shuma-Gorath?
Yeah, he's using him as something, and then but he kind of looks like just like this side character. Honestly, I've never seen him in anything else.
Sorry, my girlfriend turned on Netflix and it kicked me off for some reason. What I was saying was the comic book.
Huh?
The comic book with Spider-Man in it and Mephisto's in it.
Oh,
he missed the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was frozen for a fucking couple minutes.
No, that was.
shows up. Dude, honestly, I haven't seen him, and I haven't been keeping up with the Savage Avengers. But as far as him being like a prominent, powerful villain, dude, it's like really old comics, man. It's been fucking years.
Okay,
I
that makes
know
sense.
he came out in a lot of the Invaders comics, Invaders, and I think the first iteration.
It was a Spider-Man I won.
It's one more day.
One more day. That one.
Yeah.
Far out.
And Defenders storylines with when it was Doctor Strange and Hellstrom. Who else?
Damn.
He's definitely a very powerful villain that just kind of just shows up randomly and then disappears for many years.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then I don't feel too bad about not knowing him then.
And he was also like in the old Infinity, like the original
Okay.
Infinity kind of storylines. He's I'd say that that now he's obscure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely is. But he was pretty big like back in the day, man. I mean, before I was reading comics, I just know from from what I've read here and there, and from what other
Well, maybe that's why when Mr. Bipolar Nick Spencer was writing, writing Spider-Man, and he showed us Mephisto, and now all of a sudden Mephisto's just got one panel, and he hasn't continued off Mephisto. Maybe they said, listen, you can't do Mephisto because we're going to be putting him into the show, into the movies.
Well, I haven't read it yet, but what I heard that the Heroes Reborn #7 explains not only why Mephisto's been absent from the comics, but apparently the MCU as well. I haven't read it. That's just what I saw.
You know what?
I saw literally we're just boom. I saw 15 reports today. #7, it explains everything why Mephisto's not seen. I'm like, oh god,
That
I gotta
honestly-
get that now. Great.
I gotta read that then.
That honestly reminded me of another question I had, which this whole sacred timeline thing,
Mhm.
it kind of takes away the MCU, right? Because if there's only one timeline, then because the MCU was explained as that's not part of the comic book world. It's another universe. It's another dimension, whatever. So like MCU cannot exist because it's another timeline. You see what I'm saying? Like there's the prime timeline from the comic books, 616. MCU is another version. So anytime that you see Tony Stark do something that he didn't do in the comics, it's because this is the MCU. It's not anything else. It's not from the comics. You see what I'm trying to say here?
Well, the only thing about that is if you looked at really closely on the strip of Loki's life,
Yeah.
at the end, right? If you slow it down, it says ET 616.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I'm thinking that it's going to be hard to explain because, in the comics, the Marvel universe and our universe, where we're reading books, are
Right.
both actually in their universe.
I don't like this.
So, because in when Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, he actually finds our Earth
Yes.
and goes and kills the writers of the comic.
Right.
And also that's where Gwenpool kind of fits into a lot of this stuff
Yeah. There's also
because
that.
if I remember correctly, I don't know if any of you have read Gwenpool or if you have Kyle, but Gwenpool, Gwen Stacy, comes from our universe. She's a comic book reader, and she gets pulled into the 616 universe.
Wait, so she is Gwen Stacy though? Like from our world?
Yeah, she's Gwen Stacy from our world.
That's weird. Why? I don't understand. Okay.
Because they can.
Just to add to the confusion. Just here, put some more fire in it. Yeah, it's a shit show.
Kind of how Kyle mentioned earlier though. At one point there was the war of the multiverse, and I think that's maybe how you can explain away that question, Manny. And now with whatever it is that Lady Loki did, it's probably gonna come back.
Okay.
And Secret Wars, it's coming.
Secret Wars, yeah.
Coming, man.
100%, no questions asked in my mind. I'm sorry.
And we know that Marvel likes to tie in, well, not tie in, but mimic what's happening in the movies with their comics.
Yeah.
They like, they like to have things, kind of be pretty similar. And with all this different universes and all of this shit going on, we've seen since the beginning of Donny Cates's Venom run that the maker, and I don't want to spoil anything if anyone has.
I haven't read the last one.
Yeah,
No.
if more has read Venom 200, that's fine. I won't spoil it.
Just put your fingers right here like this.
But,
and then
but
just...
No, just take your headphones off.
I'm listening.
but even earlier in his run, we know that the maker is searching for the Ultimate Universe, and we have already seen a glimpse that the Ultimate Universe is back during Spider-Man 2 with evil Miles Morales and all of that stuff. So after Secret Invasion, now that the Fantastic Four have been bringing, and they created the multiverse again, I think that all of this is going to tie into the movies and this multiversal war, and that's why we're going to get the Ultimate Universe back. We're going to get the
Null in the MCU.
Exactly.
They're setting it up, and they've been setting it up already just by including Gore. Like, if he has all black, that means Null is in the MCU.
Exactly.
So that's simple.
Exactly. By definition, you can't have Gore, and I'm gonna be so upset if they do a version of Gore that has nothing to do with all black. It's gonna be bullshit, and I don't want.
I agree. I'd walk out. I would absolutely walk out.
Yep.
I don't care how good Thor 4 is. If all black is not with Gore, then it's not Gore. I'm out.
Yep. I don't want anything to do with it. I have put my full faith in Taika Waititi for the longest time, but even then, I won't be able to tolerate that.
Yeah, that is a transgression that cannot be let slide.
I can just picture like Kyle walking out, and then like 2 seconds later, opening the doors back up, and he's like, "You know what? I paid for it, whatever. So let's finish this damn movie."
No, yeah, I'd be in the back, like posted up like this, just angry, like. I can't pay for this shit.
I just want everybody to know that I'm angry. I'm mad. All right.
That is I'm pissed, but I'm watching. Whatever. Leave me alone,
bro. The first thing that came to my mind is when Cal gets back home and he opens up his laptop. Have you guys seen the meme of the cat? Just like.
No, that would be me writing my script for the podcast where I'm about to bash Taika Waititi. Like, this son of a bitch has the audacity to have Gore and not have all black. No, that would 100%. That would be me. Like, stay tuned for that episode. If legit, if all black just show up in Thor: Love and Thunder with Gore, or at least said. Maybe he doesn't have to have it, but
sure.
Like it has to be mentioned or something. Like, because that's Gore. I mean, what are you doing? Like, that's what we're like.
Fly up to Queensland.
That's the God Killer.
Exactly.
I'll fly up to Queensland and see if I can find anything that's happening, because that's where they're filming it. They're filming it here. So I'll fly up and see if I can get in.
You'd be like, knocking the door. Taika!
I'll be telling him I hate.
You're gonna interrupt Taika with his two girls,
but
man.
I hated Ragnarok. Fucking hated it. I reckon it's the worst Marvel film of all time. But anyway, that's my opinion. Yeah, I offend a lot of people when I say it. Too much comedy.
Okay.
Too much comedy.
I can hear that. Comedy. But Thor 2 and or Iron Man 3 are the worst movies in the MCU. Period.
Yes.
Yep. There's no you can whichever one you want to be 1 and 2. That's your own personal preference.
Absolutely.
But those are the two worst movies by far.
I actually enjoyed the first two Thors.
This is why your opinion is invalid, and we're gonna actually delete this. Like,
I didn't. Like, you know what it is, and I always say to everyone, it's the start. It's the start. When he's swinging on the chain, he's like, oh, hold on 1 minute, hold on. And he swings around, and then he does it again. Oh, hold on 1 minute.
It's hilarious, man.
The first time was okay. The second time was like, fuck this. And it turned me off straight away.
This is
it turned me off straight away.
Matt is Peter Griffin going, he's like, I'm just going to say it. I didn't care for Thor 3. Like, I didn't care for The Godfather. Like, come on,
really
man.
grinds my gears. Thor Ragnarok.
No, which one was Iron Man 3? Was that the one with Mickey Rourke?
No, that was Iron Man 2, which
was
not very good either.
Which is up there with the worst, yeah.
Nah, the Mandalorian was the number 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mandarin.
Yeah.
Mandarin.
The Mandarin.
See, now what bothers me about that is they said in Iron Man 3 that they gave him plastic surgery to look like the Mandarin. But now we're getting the Mandarin, he looked nothing like that.
I think that, you know what? I think that they are, and they should just explain it away, that it really was just additional subterfuge and, you know, for the secrecy of who the real Mandarin is.
Yeah.
And I truly do hope that the Shang-Chi movie redeems the whole idea of Mandarin.
Shang-Chi movie is going to be the number 1 Marvel film of all time.
That actually comes out on my birthday. I'm so, like, I am, like, the second the tickets go on sale, I'm going to find, like, the biggest, most comfiest freaking seats anywhere around me, and I'm getting tickets. I'm going to, like, I really want to buy, like, a whole bunch, be like, no one sit next to me. I've got 15 seats. Back up. Like, it's my birthday party. Leave me alone.
That's sick, man. But hey,
so I got a one massive prediction for you. Right, it's very far left field. Very far left field. Okay, you know that whole fight of the first multiverse that they talk about, right? This is just very far fetched, but if it happens, you can all say you know the person that thought of it first.
You heard it here first, folks.
That was seriously, businessman mind here. That was DC versus Marvel. You know why?
Get out of here.
Because I'm telling you, Disney gonna buy DC. It's gonna happen in about 5 years' time. It's gonna happen, and that's what they're gonna say. And don't forget, Johnny Cates in Thor issue, was it 1 or 2?
Yeah,
he had all the gods from the other universe written in there.
The Black
I reckon they're working on it. They're working on it. Mark my words.
They did that merger between Discovery and Warner Brothers will make it easier for another company to buy it as a whole unit, which doesn't make any sense. That's why I don't know economics, but like I don't know how having more properties makes it easier to sell. I feel like that would just increase the value and make it harder to sell.
Yeah.
And make it more possible for monopoly, where the government will step in and be like, no. Like, so I don't know how, but there's like business analysts are like, oh, there's companies like Disney and Amazon now have a shot. I'm like, wow. That makes no sense.
Well, that's because Discovery wanted Warner Brothers. They don't care about DC. Yeah. They wanted your Game of Thrones. They wanted your, they wanted all that library. You understand? DC library mate. Their movies make fuck all money. Their shows are doing fuck all. You know what I mean? That's not making money. And Discovery bought Warner Brothers not for DC. They bought it for all the other Harry Potter, all those streaming services for their channel. You're gonna go watch Justice League? You're gonna go watch fucking Batman v Superman on Discovery? No, you're gonna go watch Game of Thrones. You're gonna go watch Harry Potter. That's what it is. They've bought that, and then they're gonna go, oh, we don't need DC. We don't care about DC. Because DC are struggling, comics and movie and show wise. So then they sell DC. Discovery only bought Warner Brothers purely for those other markets.
Whether it happens or it doesn't, it's no secret that Warner Brothers has been wanting to do away with their publishing, with the publishing business side of DC Comics.
They don't want to do publishing at all. They don't want comics at all.
No, it's not a secret. So, whatever ends up happening, with it, I don't know, man. Not to go on too much of a tangent because we are talking about Loki and Marvel and I don't want the whole.
Well, it's a multiverse. Marvel, Loki, multiverse.
We don't have the sacred timeline here. No.
Exactly.
I'm about to bring it back. Hold on.
And excuse me. And I don't want to frame this as a Marvel versus DC thing because I don't think that way. But since we started talking about it, are you guys excited and are you happy with the Flash and the fact that they are gonna try and tackle the multiverse?
Nope.
No, they're gonna butcher.
Not at all. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
but like,
they're gonna.
No, I
Coming
agree
from, I'm like a DC, like you guys are towards Marvel's how I am with DC, right? I'm a DC encyclopedia, alright? I love my DC. You know, I've only been getting into Marvel the last 6-7 years, alright?
My thing is,
Marvel.
so this is my question: if they are going to use the Flash to tackle the multiverse, which
they're gonna butcher it. It's gonna be a Batman v Superman. They're gonna throw everything into this one film, and it's gonna fucking just be too much. It's gonna be too much.
And look, I understand why DC is wanting to tackle the multiverse, the DC multiverse, using the Flash movie, because I mean the biggest storylines that we've seen about the multiverse in DC have revolved around the Flash. I mean, wasn't it originally in the Flash comic the first time that the multiverse was even mentioned or talked about in DC, because the Flash, like
Jay Garrick and Barry meeting or whatever, Earth One or something.
I think you got Supergirl, you got Ben Affleck Batman, you got Keaton's Batman, you've got, now they're saying Grant Gustin from the TV show is going to be there. Fucking, you're just gonna overload it.
So again, I understand why DC is wanting to frame the multiverse around the Flash movie. This is my concern in me rooting for DC, because I always dude, I've been rooting for DC movies from the beginning. This is my concern, is that it's going to open up the multiverse where we are going to see Keaton and Grant Gustin and all of this stuff. But my worry is that it's going to feel more like a cameo, like just cameos.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a 2-second cameo.
That don't add to the actual like building of the universe or a storyline. And it's going to feel more like they're just like checking off marks, on trying to get all these universes in. But I don't know what storyline they would try to adapt, because I don't see them adapting.
Well, I can't do Flashpoint, because then you're going to need his dad as well, Thomas Wayne, in it. So there's another Batman. So you're going to have 3 fucking Batmans.
That's from what I've seen. That's exactly what they're doing. Is Flashpoint,
and that's
they're going to use it to reset the whole universe, because everyone hated all the other ones.
Mm-hmm. No, they're not going to use it to reset. Over. They're gonna use it so they can say to you, "Yep, there was the Keatons." Don't forget, everyone's going to understand, like the Keatons Batman, where there was George Clooney and fucking all the other guys. It's the same Batman, the same Bruce Wayne. It's the same character. It's just obviously a character role, but it played the same character. But what they're doing is, I think they're doing, and I understand what they're doing, but it's going to just fall on their ass. They are doing it to explain that this is why you've got Ben Affleck's Batman over there. This is why you've got Twilight Boy's Batman here, and so that they can explore. Okay, if this Twilight Batman's doing better. Sorry, I always forget his name off the tip of my tongue. Patterson. That's it. Patterson's Batman is doing better, then they will tend to do more that way. Where Patterson's Batman flops, they can go, okay, let's go with Ben Affleck's Batman. You know what I mean? They can jump from universe to universe, and instead of just doing what they do, it flops, reboot, flop, reboot, flop, reboot. They've got these multiverses to go through, and it's going to fall on their ass. They're worried, and I was speaking to my mate about it the other day, that DC is worried about the then and now. Where you look at what Marvel done, they built 23 films to build something that was the #1 box office film, right? When they had flops like you say, Iron Man 3, Kyle, what was the other one you said?
Well, those were flops.
But did Kevin? Yeah, but they were bad. They were bad, received badly, right? Just like Batman v Superman was just received badly. It wasn't a flop at the box office; it was received badly. But did Kevin Feige turn around and go, "Oh fuck, no, I need to reboot" and all that? He's stuck with his formula. He's stuck with the way he wanted to go. I really do think, and I don't care about this whole Snyderverse and all that stuff, if they had just stuck with Zack Snyder's formula, there'd be different discussions about DC now. DC they've got to learn, stick with the formula, go with it. If you have a Battle 2 film, it's okay, because Marvel just proved to you, stick to the formula, and it will fucking work. And that's the problem with DC. They don't
look at like Resident Evil. They've got like, what, I think it's like 10 films now, and they've grossed over like, I think it's like $5 billion or $1 trillion. It like the number they've made is just, and compared to what they spent, they're all profitable. Even the shitty ones that didn't do well at the box office, because they just keep going, and eventually you're gonna get a hit. Like there's in that Resident Evil franchise, there's like 3 like really good movies, and like the new one that's coming out. You know, like who knows?
That's why we're on fucking Fast and the Furious 9, man. Like,
hey, don't talk bad about Fast and Furious, all right? No, Fast and Furious is a gem. Fast and Furious series can do no wrong. All right.
Hey,
I stopped after Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious as in the fourth
taking
one.
them serious after.
No. As in the first one where it was actual real racing. That was good. Classic.
So you're telling me you're going to have a marathon of Fast and Furious tonight? That's what I'm hearing. That's
Bro.
No, I got Black Summer to finish watching right now. That's where I'm at.
There we go.
I just finished Sweet Tooth. Black Summer is a prequel to which they're so different tonally. So it's crazy that it really is a prequel. But you know that show Z Nation?
Yeah.
Sci-fi.
That's like Brad. No, that was what was I thinking?
No, that's World War Z is what you're thinking of. It was a TV show on Sci-Fi called Z Nation, and it was it was a goofy like zombie show. It never tried to be anything else other than that. But this is like a real gritty, like real. I look at it like The Walking Dead if it was realistic.
Yep.
Because The Walking Dead TV show is not realistic. I'm sorry, no. Like I got tired after. I think it's the third or fourth season. I was like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. Like, this just makes no sense. Like, this shit would not happen. Like, oh, you're telling me he's got clean face? Oh, he just been in the woods for 3 months and he's got a clean face? How? He has soap. He walk around with soap. But he about to die in the apocalypse? I don't think so. I'm sorry.
What I like about Black Summer, if you do want to get into, man, is that it's not a fucking like ridiculously crazy commitment. 8 episodes? Am I right?
I think so, yeah.
Per season?
What's it on? What streaming service?
Netflix.
Netflix.
The Netflix original.
Yeah. Oh, and if it's Netflix original, I should be able to have it because we get different Netflix to you guys, unfortunately. But we don't get HBO Max here. Pretty much, it's all on like it's spread between Binge and Netflix, 2 streaming services here.
But yeah, that's my worry with DC and the multiverse, man, that they're gonna check off stuff, and if they do end up, adapting Flashpoint, the reason why Flashpoint worked in the comics was because, dude, again, there's a lot of history there. They build up to it. We haven't even had. This is the first Flash movie, and you're gonna throw in something like Flashpoint. I mean,
that's why I think it's gonna happen.
It's called Flashpoint, yeah, but. Then you need Aquaman, then you need Wonder Woman, then you need Reverse Flash.
It's not going to be
of the characters that you've already got in there. Because you got Flashpoint, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, it's a big part. They're beefing with each other, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to completely ignore that. You're going to piss off all your comic book lovers. I'm going to go
but they don't seem to care. Like, that's why I think they're going to do it.
But it's also our fault.
Say, well, we'll just do the Flashpoint, but instead of Aquaman and Wonder Woman, we'll give them Keaton Batman and we'll throw in Gust from the Flash show. That'll be fine, right? It's 2 other characters that are actual characters, right? That's okay.
But it's our fault too because we are the ones that continue to go watch it, and I am going to go watch it, but that's they're like they're gonna throw money at us.
I'm only watching it if this was any other film. I'm only watching it because the Flash is my favorite superhero. He's my favorite superhero out of both markets. That's the only reason I'm gonna go watch it.
It's called torture.
I haven't watched the Flash series this season yet. I'm gonna go and watch it soon, but you know what I mean. I refuse. But I can't. Like, it's my favorite superhero, so I will watch it and I will sit there and I'll be on my phone 90% of it. But I just think this Flashpoint is gonna fucking dig a grave even deeper for DC, which is good. I want them to keep digging their hole as much as they can, so that fucking Disney can go and buy it. Because I know Disney will do justice to him, man. Disney will make it so much.
You heard what James Gunn said recently, right?
Yeah, that he was having casual conversations, right?
With both of them. Like, he literally I went on Twitter and said, I have had preliminary discussions with the higher-ups at both Disney and Warner Brothers about a movie where they cross over. And he literally says, don't think it's going to happen, but I've tried. Like, I'm trying. Like,
I will say this, though. If it were to happen, for as many haters as people, as many haters that will come out, the amount of money, the amount of sheer money,
and you think Disney don't have that? Oh, maybe now because of COVID, but fuck.
But seriously, the amount of money that they would make would be I think honestly more than the size of certain of a lot of countries' economies, dude. A lot of countries' GDP.
But the thing, they can do it because people are, oh, there's too many characters. Well, look at Endgame. Endgame is a perfect example of having you can have all the superheroes on there. You just need to build it up.
Make it 2 movies.
You know, oh yeah. But man, if I would love, because I've got some crossovers. I've got Green Lantern and Silver Surfer crossover comic. I've got a couple of DC Marvel crossover comics, but I'd love it.
Just think about, like, you know, and I'm sure you guys went and saw Endgame in the theaters when Steve got the hammer and everyone just Could you imagine how it would erupt if a portal opens up, Hulk standing there, portal opens up, and Superman walks through?
Dude,
I'm not even a Superman fan, and I would lose my shit. I'd be like, oh!
I feel like it'd be quiet. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it would erupt. I think it would just be like,
like that would be even better. Could you imagine that? Oh my god.
The only hard thing to do, and I'm curious to know if it ever happens, they do a DC versus Marvel kind of, you know, superhero Justice League versus Avengers. Who do you put as wins? You know what I mean? You can't.
No, it's gonna come. It would come down to Batman and Iron Man.
Yes, and also they wouldn't do it as Marvel versus DC. I really think that from the beginning, they'd have maybe like, you know, a Civil War kind of mini quick battle, but it really would be heroes versus villains. They would totally do it, and that would be the right way to go, and that'd be the right thing to do. Like heroes versus villains.
Yeah.
You know,
it's possible. You know, like DC tried to sell all their properties to Marvel back in the '80s, and the guy who owned Marvel was like, "No, the reason why their comics aren't doing well is because of the properties, not because of who's doing it." So Marvel had the chance 30 years ago to get all the properties. So it might come around again where DC's like, you know what, we're fucking done, man. Like, just give us something so we can retire, have fun. Like.
We've seen crazy shit, man. No one, I mean, for the longest time, we thought that we were never going to see Spider-Man in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we thought we lost him again. And then we thought we got him back. Then we lost him again.
You never thought fucking Disney would buy fucking Fox.
Exactly. We thought that.
No, man, like, that was the biggest thing ever. Like.
Yeah, we thought we were never going to see X-Men back home, the Fantastic Four back home, Ghost Rider back home. Crazier stuff has happened, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, at least hold on. That might be crazy in like the real world aspect because it's like companies that didn't want to like sell, but at least those were all Marvel properties at one point. If they were to acquire DC, I would feel really bad for all the independents because it wouldn't be fair anymore.
Yeah.
They'd still put out content. You still have people like us who read them, but for the most part, if you're not Boom or like Image, you're not going to be able to survive. Like, there's only a couple that would be able to keep up if DC content was now Marvel.
I'm really enjoying the indies a lot more right now than
me too.
Mm-hmm.
But we're
Marvel's doing all right. DC's a mess. Yeah, thanks, Carlos. But like, I'm enjoying the indies a lot more at the moment than 100%. DC's probably the worst at the moment, but indies are killing it, man. Like,
a couple of DC books that I've been reading aren't too bad. Like, I'm not too deep into the stories. Like the Joker. That's a good one so far. I've only read one of the Nightwing, you know, and one of the Justice League. So I'm real early. I'm not saying you're wrong by any means, but the Joker, I'm loving the Joker.
The Joker is the only one I'm enjoying. The Joker and Nightwing, and I can tell you now, Ben Beast is just going to trash Justice League. Cool. Yeah, they're the only. Honestly,
I will say Nightwing is one of the best books being put out in comics across the board, all publishing companies right now, hands down.
Yeah, I've been reading 5.
I'm only one issue in on the Infinite Crisis.
What's that?
What was it?
I said I'm only on the first one of the Infinite Frontier. I just read that one recently. Okay. I've got them all. I have it on my pull. Like just send them to me. I'll eventually get it to them. I got too many titles I'm reading right now.
That's good.
But yeah, no, that first issue of Nightwing for the Infinite Frontier just blew me away. I like, and I said it in my review. I legit cried. The last panels, I was literally in tears. Like.
I mean,
this is a comic book. Why are you doing this to me?
That's what Alfred does, man.
it's happened to me. Trust me, with many books where I'm like, oh, thank God I'm alone because.
And someone walks, are you crying in a comic book? You don't understand.
Hands down.
No. But alright.
Do you want to do ratings?
Yeah, that's actually my next thing. Is like how do you guys feel about it so far? 2 episodes.
I feel right now for episodes 1 and 2, they're getting a solid 8.5, close to a 9 for me, but a solid 8.5 out of 10. Both episodes combined right now. Good pacing, definitely setting up a lot of opportunities for the future of the Marvel Universe. Owen Wilson, dude, amazing star. The cinematography, the score, and
yeah, music is amazing.
Music's amazing, and just the overall ideas that they're playing with. And like I mentioned with WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and just the Marvel Universe in general, how well they pay tribute to this interconnectedness and that this world is living and breathing, and how everything just fits together. It's just genius. And this show keeps that going. So a solid 8.5 for me, and I can't wait for the next episode.
Matt?
You know me, I like to let my things grow, but 7.5.
Nice.
Solid.
Yeah, let's say that'd be 9.9, but I don't, like I say, Kyle, I'm one of those guys, I start low and work my way up because I don't want to say 10 and then next week 10 and then 8, like 7.5. It's good. I just wish they wouldn't use as many big words because I'm not a smart kid. So like, I do have to watch New Rockstar and all those people to help explain to me what they're saying because I have no idea.
He's over here acting like Forrest Gump, like I'm not a smart man. Like,
no, I'm not.
But you know what love is.
School reports to roll up other things.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Loki.
7.5. What was 6 episodes? We've got four to go. So,
yeah.
Dude, Matt's like Loki's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
There you go. That's a good. Kyle, what's your rating?
All right, so I'm gonna get laughed at, but I'm going 10 out of 10 because they literally set up the Secret Wars.
I'm turning off the stream.
Nothing else matters to me. Like they set up Secret Wars, so the rest of this series could be total utter shit. But they set up Secret Wars. And I'm telling you, 10 years from now, which will be around the same time it took from Iron Man to Infinity War, the Russos are going to come back for at least a 2-part, I think a 3-part, Secret War event. They're going to direct it. 10 years from now, I've been calling it since the start of the series before they even said that. And now I'm like, I'm like, and if I'm judging the series, it's really good. A lot of stuff is like, the acting from Hiddleston, as we talked about earlier, is just absolutely phenomenal. His range from comedic to like crying and then to everything in between, it's just amazing. But I can't give you a grade on the show because Secret Wars. Secret Wars. I have nothing else to say but Secret Wars.
Very quickly, we're talking Secret Wars, Jonathan Hickman style, right?
Well, that's the better one, but I think that the new one. I'm thinking that the 2015 one is the one I think is going to be the most likely to happen. The newer one.
Secret Wars one where you take them all and they all got to fight against each other on the planet.
Yes.
I read that one.
Because I
feel like this was old as the one that I read.
No, the one you're talking about is the original Secret Wars, where they were put on a planet by the High Evolutionary, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they had to fight. The Secret Wars, the newer one, was all of the universes collided. And then Doom and Doctor Strange saved different parts of the multiverse onto one planet called Battleworld.
Battleworld.
I think that works better for the MCU versus just some heroes getting plucked out of their Earth and put into a thing to fight.
Yeah.
If everything collides and destroys itself, and somebody like saves it, like a Doctor Doom who's on the way, no matter what he's coming. I'm telling you, I've heard rumors. I actually know someone who's in Black Panther 2. I've heard rumors that he's going to make a cameo in Black Panther 2.
Very cool.
So, Well, unconfirmed. I'm not saying.
No, it's confirmed. You heard it here first.
No, I respect that. I respect that. You know,
I hear a lot of stuff because I've got a lot of ears out there and people telling me things. I'm just like, this is what I heard. I don't know if I believe it, but that's what I'm hearing.
I'm going to change the title of this video to just Black Panther 2, Doom confirmed, and just the whole.
He said it. He said it.
Just gonna point at him like it was him. It was him.
But yeah, I completely agree that Jonathan Hickman's 2015 Secret Wars is definitely very much on the table. And
well, you're gonna have to send me a list because I've been reading. My mate gave me a list. So I got Marvel Unlimited, and I've been reading Ed Brocker's what's his name again? His Captain America. I'm gonna do
Ed Brubaker.
Yeah, and then Thor by what's his name? He's done Thor. Yep, Thor. And then I'm doing it into Secret Invasion.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
And then I'm going into Secret Invasion, and then I'm finishing at Siege. So does Secret Wars take after Siege?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All you need to
let
work
me finish
on,
all that, and then I'll come back to you, and you can let me know what to read.
All you need to work on, Carlos, is saying what is, and then the answer. So then you can go on Jeopardy, and you're already good to go. But also, I was gonna say, Kyle, you wanted to jump on the show. We actually have 3 other members, and one of our members, Carlo, that's his signature move is to give a 10 to things. So it looks like you're trying to replace him, man. Like he's gonna get mad.
Whoa, hey,
he's gonna get mad.
Hey. Hold on, 1 second there. I'm not trying to replace nobody, and if it was anything but Secret Wars, I wouldn't have given it a 10. But when I'm telling you, I legit jumped out of my chair. Like, did they say They said multiversal war. They said multiversal war. Like, I lost it. So for me, I don't I can't give it, take anything else seriously. They said multiversal war. All I heard, I didn't even hear multiversal war. I heard Secret Wars. Like, I heard that was like. I was watching it at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had no one to talk to. Can you imagine? My dog was looking at me like, "What is going on with you? Like, this is weird."
4 o'clock in the morning. I think at that point Matt's up. So
4 p.m. mate. So shoot me a text 5 p.m. then because it comes out here 5 in the evening.
Really?
Yeah, on Wednesday.
That's so nice.
Yeah, right.
Which is it's usually midnight. I've checked. It's midnight LA when it releases here at 5 p.m.
Yeah, it releases at 3 a.m. my time, but I didn't plan to it, but I woke up out of my sleep at 4 o'clock and was like, well, I'm up. We're watching this right now.
Because dude, Secret Wars to me is mind blowing. I love Secret Wars. Love it. By the way, your dog's awesome.
Yeah, love him.
His name is Lobaka.
He said, "Did someone say multiversal war?"
Look, that was what you were freaking out about the other day, wasn't it? Yes. I said Secret Wars. Yes, I know. I love you too. Can you go on somewhere?
No, so for me, I gotta agree with Matt, and I gave it a 7.5 for all the same reasons. Just it's great pacing, everything. The little things that I complained about to you guys about, just Loki's character development, why he seems a little weaker than he should be, and I know they explain it and stuff, but to me, it's just a negative. But I did appreciate it. I'm gonna wrap up this because we've been going for an hour and almost 2 hours. I can't believe, an hour for each.
That's kind of my fault. I tend to do that.
No, it's good. No, this is good.
It happens with us, and hey, when you're having a good time, and
those tangents are great. We love them.
When you're talking comics, heroes and villains, man, I could do this all day.
Yeah,
it's real funny how far off.
Well, it's only 8:30 a.m.
Anytime someone comes over and is like, "Hey, I got a question about this," I'm like, "Oh man, you got to read this, and then you also got to read this, and I'm gonna reference this over here as well." It's not an easy answer, man. I'm gonna have to talk to you a lot for me to answer whatever question. One guy asked me "Hey, so how is Dr. Ock Spider-Man?" And I was like, "Whoa, man, how do I start here, man?"
We all just
right. So if you go
what happened was
yeah.
If you go back to 2011, what happened was Dan Slott had.
My answer from now on is always just gonna be the sacred timeline, and that's it.
That's the answer from now on, though. That's the sacred timeline. Just deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. We've messed with it. It's okay, but Kyle, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. I look forward to joining your show, either all of us or one at a time. It doesn't matter.
No, we'll definitely work. So this was real fun. Definitely.
Doors open.
I like how we went off
here
on
whenever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate
Doors
it.
open. Anytime you want, mate.
Of course, yeah.
I'm usually always available. You guys let me know when you got a spot. Because if you got more people...
we're going to spot every week, mate. They never turn up. We're going to spot every week. Don't worry.
No.
Are you sure? Because each show is going to go like 2 hours.
If they're watching this live, too bad. I'm making an executive decision. I'm doing the hard cut.
No, for sure. I'll definitely let you know like anything that's going to come up that we're going to talk about. And if you want to jump in, just say so. It's open.
Sounds good.
If you're watching right now, make sure that you follow us on YouTube here and give us a like, subscribe, share with all your friends. Individually, we got Omni City Comics with Carlos. Matt is talking pop culture, and Kyle down here is. Man, you got a long one. You need to say it. You need to say it because I can't.
Okay, and I feel like Coulson and Shield. I understand. I know I'm working on it.
Yeah.
It's Nerd Tween and a movie podcast. It's just like you say it, but each space is an underscore for Instagram. But if you just type in Nerd Tween, it's gonna show up on anywhere you look because I'm the only one who has the name that crazy.
Other than that, thank you for watching.